Hey guys, Wheatywaffle here today, and we are back in City Skylines 2 playing our city of Second City. Now, in the not last part, but the following part before that, we built out Warehouse Bend here. It's looking pretty good. I mean, I'm really happy with how this is starting to develop. Some of the buildings are beginning to upgrade. All of that looks really nice. But today, I've got a few goals, and one of them impacts really Warehouse Bend and the Sheffield area. First, I want to move our rail yard. I think when we first placed it, it was working, but now that we've developed the city a bit more, it needs a more permanent home. Then we're going to build out our first cargo train terminal, and once we get those two in place, we'll connect them up to our current rail line. The final thing we're going to accomplish today is get rid of the 3 rail lines that are in front of Sheffield and reopen and revitalize the shorefront to the water. So first things first, right here is our rail yard. It fit perfectly in this space when we were kind of struggling with money and didn't have real opportunity to build this where I think it should go. One thing I didn't realize though is that I had zoned high density commercial over here instead of low, which is what I meant to do. They're all doing really well and they all have a ton of employees. So I'm thinking we move this ideally over into our industrial area. These two sections of the city are slowly getting closer and closer together. And so I think what I want to do is I want to find a way to situate our rail yard right here. So first things first, let's just grab a brand new rail yard to get a sense of size. Rail yard. And what I'm thinking is this is going to go right here, but I don't want it facing this road. I want it facing the other direction. So let me just get an idea. If I go down to this height here, let's level out some of this land to help us not snap to this side of the road. Let's just add a key wall here, which I think looks good. And then let's actually just move this. Yep, I think we're doing that just like that. That's perfect. I have no changes. All right, so now we've got our connection here. We have this avenue coming up, and I am questioning where this avenue is supposed to go. I actually think this needs to be sunken down a little bit more. Because if I do this, here's the test. If I bring out a train line, and then I bring out a road, can this road cross over the train? Well, technically yes, but not perfectly. It needs to go. Although no, hold on, that worked. Honestly, I'll take it. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Let's back up this guy here. I'm gonna take this train line. We're gonna give it a little bit of a curve. We're gonna send it along this way. I have no idea where this is going. Absolutely no clue. I'm not concerned about it. Let's grab the two-way road here and let's go. I'm going to go straight for a moment, and then right before we hit this curve, we'll connect in. And then we'll do something similar here. We're just going to kind of connect right before there. Perfect. All right, so now we have that going out that direction. What I'm thinking is we actually take this avenue and we curve it and send it up this way. I think what I want to see is I want to see this connect into here. We're going... Oh, but then we cut off our access to the road. We could then raise this road up, but I don't necessarily want to do all that. All right, we're going to just make a quick change here. I don't mind if this is a bit more of an aggressive bend here. Let's bring this to the 180. Let's just send that straight on out. It does make some strangeness here. Hopefully we can just solve that by going like this. Grabbing this and coming right on out? No? You're not going to let me have the win here? Why did I delete this road again? Get rid of that road again. Snap to this. This road absolutely fits. Hold on. What is going on? Give me angle and give me snap twos. And can we get like a nice smooth curve there? Yes. Now, it does not need to be elevated. So we can just go ahead and just get that upgraded. Bam. Perfect. That's much better. Much better. Okay. We got to remove this section of the highway. I think that's got to go. We're going to back it all the way up to there. Told you it's going to be a pretty big one today. So now the whole north half of the city is severed. I'm glad we're on pause. Okay. First things first. I think we back up basically get rid of the surface. I'm going to mess it up. I might as well just remove it. Let's get rid of all of these train lines. And what I would like to try to do is line these up somewhat perfectly. So I'm going to do a few clicks there to try to create a new node. It worked great. Now we've got 3 train lines all kind of lined up together. Then what we're going to do is we are going to try and get crazy. Now we have them coming out underground there. Now this just needs to reconnect in, which this should be, I would think, pretty easy. We can actually turn everything back on for all I care. And just go like that. Okay. Now, I want to come over here. I want to grab all 6 of these nodes. I want to bring them back to here. And then I want to just do a little bit more work in terms of lining them up. Then what we want to do is I want to upgrade this section of this to have a retaining wall. And now I'm going to see, can I just kind of scoot these back and almost kind of connect them to the retaining wall? You can't like actually connect them, but like that looks pretty decent. Oh yeah. Now just pretend that the water that's in there is not there. Okay. So now I think let's go ahead and get these connected up to the actual rail yard. That's going to be super useful. So first things first, I think we use the center. Actually, here's what we do. I think we parallel these two. Are they closer to a half away from each other? They are. They are a half away, which is fine. We're going to bring this straight up to here. Bring this straight up to here. Then we're going to turn parallel off. And we're going to curve into this section here. 3.3. That's phenomenal. This is just going to connect straight up into here. Then what we need to do is get these all working together. So let's grab this height. Let's grab this height. Kind of give that a curve. Grab this height. Grab this height. And then we're going to grab our smooth tool and just give it all a quick little mesh. And then we're just going to connect everything up. So I think what we'll do is we'll actually use the complex curve tool here. I think what I want to see is this to come to here and then try to connect in like so. This one will do something similar. Okay. This one can just be a regular curve. You're going to come out and you're going to curve in. And this one is also just going to be a regular curve. You're going to go out and curve in. But now we've got a much better connection there. It does all end up being this one thing. So I would like, just for the sake of making it feel a little bit more robust over here, I'm going to try and add some additional connections that look nicer. Let's see. Can I just want like this side. Let's do a straight piece. Yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. Then this is going to curve over and connect kind of perfectly into here. And honestly, now that I'm seeing that, I kind of want the same thing to happen with this piece. Hold on. Ideas. We need to do this right. So let's take some time to do that. This needs to come straight up next to this. You know, as much as possible. And then we're going to send this to connect into that piece. Then we'll connect this one kind of directly into here. I would like for you to not snap to anything else because we have that turned off. So while you're doing it, I don't understand. We're gonna actually bring it back. Let's do this. Let's bring this out straight a segment or two. Like that. So then this is gonna connect from here. I think this is a complex curve. Actually, that's just a regular curve. Whoopsie. Send this over to here. Send this one over, and we can send this kind of up and in. Like so. I don't like how tight this is. It needs to just ease up a bit. I think it would just be too ridiculous for a train to do that. So with our curve tool on, we'll guesstimate to about there. I think that's much better. It's also making me rethink this curve.
2 hours later.
Okay, so now we've got those two passenger lines connected, and they go through the rail hub, which is perfect. Eventually, we're going to want to figure out a way to get one of these lines to go out into the world. And I'm thinking it will be this line. At some point, I want to connect it up, and maybe once we collect all of these tiles, have a train that goes just straight on out through the middle of the highway. But we'll have to get to that in a future part. Now we need to connect up and create a cargo terminal. So again, we're going to get a little crazy. I think we're going to just completely remove Lilac. We're going to remove all of these power lines. And we're actually going to back Lilac up till it's straight. Now, how big is a cargo terminal? It needs to face this way. It means the road has to be facing the highway. But it could go kind of like right here somewhere, where this curve comes down. So let's use that to our advantage. Oh, we have more than enough space. So let's go ahead and place this maybe here. Oh, I didn't place it. I right clicked. Right there. And what I think we can do is, for the time being, let's just place a road around it. I'm sure we can find somewhere for that road to go in the future. But for now, we're just going to do something like that. Then let's grab this road here. Although I am just kind of generally less concerned about the height or angles of roads than I am train lines. I think we can send this along this way for the moment. Okay, great. Now, we need to get this connected to the third train line here. So let's just take a straight line tool. And for us, this is going to be somewhat easy. Turn everything off. I want it to have a nice separation there. We slowly get everything closer to a 0.5% separation. One of these pieces needs to connect into the actual train, into the actual rail yard itself. So hold on, let's get a curve piece. Let's first level some land. Hold on. If we go from here and we come over this direction, just give me a little bit more leveling. I want to kind of hold on to my 5%. 3.8. What a beautiful number. All right, then what I want to try to do is, can I connect this into here? Can we also connect this like this? Can we just begin to add in some additional connections for our train line? I'm actually going to get rid of it. Here's what I think we do. I think we do that again, but I think we just come right from that curved section. There we go. So now we can fill up a cargo harbor or cargo port. Cargo, what is this? Cargo terminal. The problem we're going to have, though, is that we have nowhere to ship this. At the moment, there's no way that this actually benefits us. And because I don't want to build something and it not help us out in any way, what we're going to do real quick is I'm just going to jump into a time lapse and we're going to place down a train line using Anarchy, continuous curve tool. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. That's not the goal. The idea is that we're just trying to get this out of the city. That is just purely so that we can connect up to the outside world. I will also say, now seeing this line kind of coming in this way, I don't love that. So I think we may want to consider kind of moving this train station or figuring out a way to rework this. I want this coming up north. I just don't like this harsh bend, and I don't know. I'm feeling very strange about how that's sitting, so we'll have to come back to that. This area here needs a road. I think that's pretty easy. We're going to grab a road, and we're just going to go like this. It's also going to be a road that I think can help connect to other areas in our city, so that's perfect. So now we have a road going right through. We love it. We do need to get our highway over top, and if we notice, we are going downhill here. So what I think we do is we back those two squares up. Let's grab our highway. Let's do 2-lane parallel from here. Yes. Constant slope. Turn down the elevation step. This does have to become a bridge. 7.5 should let us bridge, or is it really the 8 that we need? We'd have to go all the way over there to 30 meters? What? Okay, hold on. Nope. We can add in the retaining walls ourselves. Okay. We turn this back off. Bring this down to the ground. Send it out to here. Line them up. Rotate it. Okay. Straight. Parallel. I actually think don't even start with the straight tool. We know we need to kind of curve in. Let's just make this one long curve. All around much nicer. Still a pretty intense like hill, but to be honest, I'm not worried about it. It's cars. Okay, so now we've kind of consolidated where the rail yard is. Looking fantastic. Let's figure out what we're doing here with our power. So we've got power coming in from 2 sources, and then it needs to come down as 1. I think the best way to do that, let's back this piece up a little bit. And I want to have this kind of right along the shoreline. Again, we're in an industrial area. I don't mind. We would want this to be the shortest crossing possible, so it would cross straight like that. And here, I think what I would want to do is bring this along this direction. So let's see if we can make that work, because we have, looks like maybe 1 or 2 things in the way. If we elevate that once, we'll be fine. Bring it back down at the 180, connect it in. That means we can also get rid of this piece. So now those two are all connected, and they're all feeding down this direction to this transformer station. But we have another transformer station that we also want to service. So the question then becomes, do we send a line here? But if this is going to be a park, I would want to have moved that power connection a little bit further out. I think we move this transformer station right over here at this bend in the road. You came straight on out. Perfect. You connect right in. Great. Then the underground one could just connect through this highway exit. We could get rid of this section. Okay, I think we're all reconnected. Let's go ahead and get rid of all these old train lines. Let's not disrupt the power lines. Now, I might have to anarchy some of these away just because of how much we did here. Okay. Okay, this is looking good. This is looking good. All right, so the train lines go underground. We're going to build a park. They come right on through, and then they start going out this direction, and they head up to our new terminal. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to unpause. Let's see if anything breaks. Nothing seems broken. So we now need to first connect this terminal to our roads and re-add a highway exit. If you remember, we removed the Concord highway exit. So I think let's start with the highway, just because that has bigger ramifications if we forget to put that back. Let's upgrade. That's a whole lot of segment. I don't need really all of that. I was thinking more like upgrade like this much. All right, upgrade this section, 3 lanes. Now grab our 1 lane and send it, send it far out here. 8% change, I'm fine with that. This is then going to go, although this now goes up 6. I don't want it to go up 6. Here, we're going to use move it to solve this problem for us, because I don't think I can solve this on my own. Let's grab this node, grab this node, grab this node, grab this node. All make them the same height of this node. There's a little bit of a bump here, though. So now, grab that node, just raise it up, and kind of fix that mistake. Perfect. That will mean that inside here, I think we raise this up to at least this height. Just make it look a little bit better, because right now it does look a little crazy. Okay, so now that section is all flat. Perfect. I do think there are some road upgrades that need to happen. Both sides of Limburg, that is just going to all be elevated. I think all of that can be elevated. And then I think on the inside here, this will all be, or not elevated, this will be a key wall, retaining wall. I think we can probably get rid of all the retaining wall there. That can have the wall. And even along here, I'm fine with this section of highway having a wall. Leading into this section, which I would like to have a wall just for the sake of it looking more sturdy. This section, I do want to have some wall. Maybe just like that. The rest can be a bridge, that's fine. Okay, so now we have all this. Now let's do a little bit more grading here. We're going to reduce the size of our brush. Grab the height we're at here and just lightly back this up to the highway section. Got a little autosave, great. Now with these 1-lane roads, you kind of got to be careful because it's really easy to go too far and then end up with a really ugly looking section. I mean, I'll take it. It's fine. He says, and then he begins to do more finessing. Okay, there we go. Now, I do think we need to make one upgrade to this road. This off-ramp would be that I want to take a section and curve it out this direction, which may mean I'm comfortable, at least for a portion of this, upgrading that into 2 lanes. If I do that, though, let's rebuild this because now we have an actual lane to connect to, and that's just so much cleaner. Yeah, just like that. Then we're going to want to make some adjustments. So if you're coming out this direction, you can't turn this way. And if you're coming out this direction, you can only go that way. I don't think we need nearly this many crosswalks. Ideally, you would not be crossing where there are highway entrances and exits, and you would not be crossing across the roads either of those places. And I think for now, this one doesn't cross over traffic, so this one's not going to get a light. It just has to blend into the rest, whereas this one does have to do a little blending in. And I am curious if it would just look a little bit nicer if we actually curved that. Now seeing the sister lane, I think just having this go like that is just going to be a much nicer connection. Yeah. All right. Remove the light. Remove all the crossings. And then let's also go ahead and upgrade just this first section to have an extra lane. So now you can have an easy slide off here from the highway, and then you can figure out where you're going next. Okay, let's just touch this up real quick. Now we gotta get this connected into here. I think honestly that we just have a connection right here. And I think what we're gonna do is we are gonna use an avenue. We're gonna use a divided 4-lane avenue. We're going to go straight on out from here. Turn all these back on. I want to go at the 90. Bam. And then for right now, we'll also take this road and bring it out this way. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in this smaller space, but we'll come up with something. I do want it to be straight, though. That is not straight. There's straight. Okay, we have this divided road here, so you can come off the highway and then you can work your way into here. I am actually going to keep the asymmetrical avenue up to the light. Give us an extra turn lane into this terminal. Now, unfortunately, you have to turn and go all the way around, which isn't ideal, but what else are we going to do? I mean, we nestled this in here near a highway. Let's give it a small little roundabout. We'll even do one with like a mosaic. I don't know. Now you got a place to turn around. I do think having a bigger parking lot over here would be really useful. If we hit play, it should get all of its connections. Great. But I think we can now consider what this park looks like. So I want to make a few changes to our road network here. Let's remove the key wall we had there. I think the rest of this is all looking pretty good. And what I'd like to do is use a pathway. We're going to use a pedestrian street. We're going to connect right up to this road here and come out at the 90 in water. Okay, turn off constant slope, and let's just make this elevated for now. How are you in water? You're not in water. I want this to be on the ground. I don't want it to be elevated. I want it to be on the ground. What if we do retaining wall on the one side? We can connect to that. That's fine. We want this to be constant slope. So as we're connecting in, we want that to look nice and smooth. Just like that. That's perfect. Okay, now the retaining walls have gotten a little jumbled. So we don't want retaining walls here, but we want them all along this road, which it already has there. Okay, and now we've created a new place to build. This is going to be a park. I'm very excited to see how this turns out. Let's grab this. Let's just grab the smoothing tool. I think let's just give it all a little bit of a smooth. I do want to actually continue extending this park even further. And I think the way to do that would be to bring a road up. For now, this is all going to be industrial, but I think what we could consider is having a forested area right here. So let's do that. Okay, so I did make a few small changes. I added in a bit of zoning here, just some southwest commercial buildings, as well as a few parking lots. And then I spent probably like an hour for both sides, just trying to get this as close to level as I could, put a little surface in between, make it look kind of intentional there, like it was built into the road. And that's really it. I elevated this section. I could not do the 3 crossings back to back to back. It looked crazy. So instead I added a road underneath, and then I just added a key wall all the way down this way. So with that, I was able to name a few things. So if we look, we always had Denny Ridge right here, but now the neighboring area next door is going to be called Creighton. because somebody named Creighton commented through Chirper, so duh. So the neighboring district next door is going to be called Creighton. Then the locomotive and the cargo, both of these I named Brightwater Locomotive. So this is all a part of the same kind of locomotive district. Then we have the key. If you have a better name, let me know. But I want to name this kind of stretch here, turn into a park of some kind. And I recorded the first part of this episode on Sunday, the 16th, but today is Tuesday, the 18th. And the reason that I'm recording half of my episode, I usually do it all in one shot, but the reason I'm splitting it up is because today we got the anniversary update. You'll notice the icons are 3D now. There's been a few changes, and I want to see what we've got going on here. So we have a lot of parks that we always have had, right? These are the small guys that we have grown to love, the micro parks. They're great because, oh, I did not mean to build that. What we're going to do now, I think, is go ahead and begin to decorate this part of Kent Street. Then our city parks, we have this park. I really like this guy, this hedge park. It fits perfectly as well. So I think let's go ahead and just start with the hedge park because I know that I want that. What I want to focus on is I would like to be working on adding decorations to the key for the rest of this episode. But now with this new update, I anticipate we're going to see some impacts to our industry. And I honestly just want to redo the whole industry area now that we've got trains in place. So I think next episode, we're really going to be diving into some industry reworks. All right, so we've got that little park. That's cute. What's this one? Large City Park. This also fits and could look nice. I'm going to hold that as a maybe. The multi-purpose park, it just doesn't do it for me. And then we have the large plaza. Again, too big. Now, parks and recreation. Now, in here, small playground we've always had. Here's the Chirplet Park, which it's a little aggressive on the chirper, if you ask me. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. We also have the activity park. Oh, now although that's bright, I can see that being very cool. Okay, that's an option. We then have play round. Okay, very fun. It's neat that it's a circle. I'm a fan. Dog park we've always had. Hilly playground. Let's just place all three. Hilly playground, Chirper Park, Park Cafe. And then we also have the Dockyard Lounge and the Color Plaza. Place all of them just to look at them. All right, I can tell you right now, the Chirper one's out. I really like this. I'm indifferent on this, so that's out. The Dockyard, I like this a lot, but I think I want to actually put this when we build out a port down here. I think that would look much better. So we're going to get rid of this for now. And then we also have this plaza, which I'm a huge fan of. Now, before we leave these here, I think we got to figure out kind of what the flow is of this area. I wouldn't mind having... Oh, actually, before. Hold on. So that's all those. Did we have any others? We did get this, the Neo Barracks, but this is formerly a barracks. This site has been transformed to a dynamic space having offices, restaurants, exhibition areas. This could technically fit. This could fit. It could be valuable, but I don't think it's going to work for this. Oh, we have the Chirper Fun Park too. This is just a little bit too big. I don't know. The Chirper stuff, it's really cheeky and cute, but it's just not for me. We have nothing new here, doesn't look like. And then in here, we do have a few new things. We have a basketball center, which I realize I'm just wasting money, but oh, now that is cool. Okay. I'm a fan of the basketball center. And then we also have some of these new items from the, what pack was this? Leisure venues. So there is a Apex climbing venue, a sports hub pavilion, game set match, and a sports park complex. What's this pavilion? I don't think any of these are actually going to be able to fit here, which is okay. Oh my God, that's huge. Could any of them fit over this way? There's a path there, but technically this could fit up this way. This is the Apex Climbing, a vertical haven for enthusiasts, offering diverse climbing paths for beginner to extreme challenges and an outdoor climbing wall. I think what I want to do is place this up here. We're going to come and decorate all this soon enough. Let's keep the game playing. But yeah, I think we're going to have this Apex Climbing all the way over here. Back down this way. I like these other options. So let's do this. Let's take the key, or the color plaza, excuse me. We're going to place this, I think, over here. But first, I want to actually turn off Snap to Roads. I want to align this kind of in the center on my own. Just like so. That works for me. Then I'm going to move this guy. Does this need to be on the road, or can I add the road or the paths myself? It does need a road connection. But if we place it here, then we can connect it over and wind it in to connect. Now, unfortunately, though, it is saying it's not connected. So let's try this again. Let's use Move It. Right there it is connected. So that should solve all those problems. All right, so now we have this. We're going to put a ton of trees through here and some additional paths. I wouldn't mind having maybe one or two other small things. So I would say, what if we were to do... The basketball thing was great. I just don't know if I want all that concrete over here. But what if we, along this road, we already have this kind of playpen area there. What if we placed a few basketball courts along here? And then you know what? Let's do this. Let's do that. And let's also grab all three with Move It and just shuffle them into the center a little bit. Perfect. So this is kind of like the athletic area. Although you know what? Now I've kind of cut it off, although you can walk around. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. No edits, no changes. This is great. Okay, we're going to add trees and paths through here. When we come up this way, we have the Apex Climbing. And I think for this to work, I'm going to need parking, right? Like that has to happen. So I think we take this area here and make parking out of this. The only downside to that approach is that this is really for key traffic, or the cargo traffic. So let's do this instead. Let's put a key wall on this road here. Keep it on the ground though. Wrong side. Hold on. Change that around. There we go. Let's upgrade this road here to also have a key wall on the back of the apex. Then we can just kind of flatten that land out a little bit, right? So this now acts as this intersection. And then what I think we do is from here forward, I think this is the length of the key that's for pedestrians. I think at this point we can go ahead and upgrade this road into a regular road. And I might need to do this with Anarchy, or we can just delete this and try to do this ourselves. If I use this guy here straight, let's align right to the center here. Constant slope. Just put it to the ground. Anarchy it in. It will then put the ground underneath it. There we go. And now we should be able to upgrade this side to have a key wall and remove the key wall from this side. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, I think an area like this Apex thing, in my mind, it would have some decent parking. So let's grab some land and let's just kind of flatten it out. Okay, I gotta get used to these new icons. This is not exactly what I'm used to. That's what happens when they change stuff on you. I think it's all going to be a good change. I'm excited about the icons. I'm excited about the new icons we have for the different types of surface paint. They look really nice and I think are much more reflective of what the actual item looks like. Like this looks so much better than what we had before. Oh my gosh. All right, so in here, I'm going to try to make a custom parking lot. I think that's what I would like to do. Oh my gosh, we just made a parking lot, guys. We just made a parking lot. I'm very proud of it. So there's our parking lot for Apex climbing. Again, needs some trees, needs a little work. We're going to make that happen. Let's go ahead and smooth out this area right here. Just give this a quick little smooth. Call it a day. That's perfect. And now what I think we do is we go through and begin to connect up some of these pathways. So let's just start with our roads and we'll let everything else be informed by our paths. We'll turn on contour lines so we can see exactly what's going on with what. I think right here we are going to need to turn on snap twos and turn on angle, turn on anarchy, and let's just get this to connect. It's going to have to go through this road here. Okay, but I downloaded the Better Bulldozer mod, and let's see if I can figure out how this works. Although, actually, I say that, and the Better Bulldozer mod seems to not be working with this new update. So let me go ahead and just quickly disable that mod. We'll jump back in, and we'll try to keep moving here. Okay, so even though this is cutting through this hedge right now, once the Better Bulldozer mod is updated and working correctly, I can go in and actually make an adjustment there. But we'll have this road kind of come right on through. I think, really like to have this at the same height as this. How high is that? It's a little tall. It's a little tall. Okay, hold on. Then where's the other end of this guy? I just want this to look decent. I don't mind that this is a hill, although actually I think I do mind it's a hill. No. Go here and just move this back down. Get this close to the ground. Nice and smooth. That looks pretty decent. Then I think we can do this, but we keep continuous slope on with our pathways. Go from here, throw on anarchy, turn everything off except for angle. Keep it on the ground and connect it right on in. Like, what if we do that? Kind of perfect. Now we have these two parks connected. Now I do think I want to have something a bit more kind of like free flowing, similar to what we have happening here. So I'm thinking we can add in some like embellishment pathways. Now I think because I have anarchy kind of controlling that initial connection, I think all of this is going to have anarchy on, which is fine. We can work with that. So we'll do a little curve here, although that doesn't look great. Why does this game do this to me? Why every single time do I get this kind of stuff? Can I move this up? It's because the train underneath. I think I also want some connections kind of good, just going straight over, but I think instead of straight, let's do this. Let's do continuous. We're going to go here to here to here. Then we're gonna go from here to there. And like, is it perfect? No. However, we can get pretty close. I would love to see this. I guess if we pull it down this way, we can get a better kind of connection there. I'm fine with that. So now we have this connection there. If we look at it from up here, it looks pretty decent. We already have an entrance here, so I don't know if we need another one there. And I like that this has an entrance here. Already have a homeless person living here. I haven't even finished building the park yet. All right, we'll have that there. Perfect. So now we have this park kind of flows into this park. That's beautiful. I don't think we need really any connections here because these you can get to from this road, which is just fine. I could see value in maybe expanding our parking just a little bit off of this road. I think the best way to do that may be with a perpendicular parking alley. Let's just mess around with this for a second and see what we get. If I were to send this out to here, right? Do I care that it has so many stops? I don't think that I do. Actually, no, I think I do. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of these two. You can still cross here, but if you're driving here, just keep on driving. And then I'm actually going to see, what are the chances I can just pull this forward? Yes. Pull this all the way to here. Maybe back it up just a bit. That way, for those turning around, they don't look like they're running into it. And then we'll add a surface underneath all of that. This, I think we're just going to get some trees. I don't think there needs to be any additional pathing here. We have this key wall on both sides to keep people from getting too close to the train. And then I think here, we'll leave all this just a key wall as well. But then we could connect like over to this section with some pathways. Let's do that. Let's grab path. If I were to go just like right from here, I don't need you to make a crosswalk though. We're going to send you straight over. Yep. And then I think we're going to do some like really extravagant, unnecessarily so curves. We'll do one here. We'll do one there. Let's go ahead and try to move this around so that we get rid of that weird clipping happening right there. Just raise that up. You can make that the same height as this one. Works for me. Works for me. So now we have a few other paths there. And then honestly, once we get up this way, this becomes just a regular road. I'm going to get rid of this pathway for now. We're going to build this out in the next episode when we kind of redo all of our industrial, and we're going to start kind of focusing on this area a bit. But now the only other thing I want to make sure this is nice and flat. Great. All right. I think this is ready for trees. So let's just jump into a quick time lapse and start doing some tree decorations. I think that's pretty good. So now we've got the key all set up and done. People are using it, which looks great. We've got our little cafe. I just put down a few benches here, nothing crazy. And then I also added in a few signs. We've got our kind of spiral park, which also connects perfectly to this road that connects into the downtown of the city. We've got our little, oh, you know what? I forgot. We have our little parking area, and I wanted just to give this a quick surface. Hold on. Let's connect this to here. I mean, is it simple enough that I can go like this? Amazing. All right, so now we've got a little parking area behind our 3 basketball courts. Then we've got our color plaza, great for kids. I mean, there's still a lot of homeless here, which I'm working on. Then we come over here and we've got rogue trees in the train tracks. That we don't want. I'm going to get rid of some of the ones that I think are just too close. Oh, look at the people. Look at them go. It's amazing. All right, so then we've got our train tracks that come all the way down this way, elevated into a bridge. Then over here, it gets a little bit denser, which I kind of like the idea that this gets a little bit fuller. We've got a large city park next to the Apex climbing building, which I think is fantastic. And then next door, we have a parking lot. Right now, no one's using it, but in the next part, I want to spend our time focused on Aspen gas Parker Incineration, and Brightwater Locomotive. I think this area could become really great. We just got to give it a little bit more effort. And so that's what I'm going to work on in the next part. But for now, we've redone this train line, I think, in the best way possible, and just created a beautiful above ground park. I mean, Sheffield is becoming the hottest neighborhood in town, if you ask me. I am curious, before we wrap, what's the land value over here? Because it's got to be ridiculous. Oh, I don't know any of these items now. Okay, land value. Let's see. This building, 189, 189, 175, 189, 192, 189. Oh, I can hover over the areas. Okay, Sheffield, 187. Warehouse Bend, 167. Cypress, 173. Bedford, 122. Mellonville, 151. 154. 138. 144. 137. Hold on. Sheffield may now be the most expensive. Oh my God, Boulder Hill, $28. Girlfriend, you got to work on that. Sheffield may be the most expensive district in our entire city. South Second, Evergreen Terrace. The Narrow, $11. Ooh. Evergreen Terrace. Eventually that'll get better. There's nothing over here. Orson Farms. I mean, the farms are more expensive. Sheffield is by far the most expensive area in our city. That is incredible. All right, well, Sheffield is now the most expensive neighborhood in the city, which is kind of incredible. I mean, it makes sense. You're looking at this beautiful park and you're right on the water. Soon that's all going to be suburbs, but for now, not bad, not bad. I did want to show you guys one other thing I made. I found the supports for the pedestrian bridge and I used them to make like a billboard. What do you think? Tell me in the comments if the billboard is good or if the billboard is bad. You can see it from all the way back here. I purposefully picked Advertise Your Company here. I'm not sure if I can sink it into the ground, but I'll have to give that a shot because I'm kind of obsessed with the billboard. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end this part here. A quick shout out to my channel members. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the link in the description below to unlock custom emojis, loyalty badges, early access to videos, save game files, members only content, merchandise discounts, and more. And until next time, leave your questions, comments, and feedback down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.